and welcome to the Spring 2025 Virtual Fabric Show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. My name is Stephanie Sheridan, and I will be your host today. A few things before we get started. The collections you see here today are from our Winter and Spring 2025 releases. They're all available for you to look at on our website, and they will be shipping throughout the world at some point in 2025. And we'll have information on when each of the collections ship in the little videos that we do. During the session, if you have any questions for our panelists or for Benartex, please type them in the Q&A box that you see at the bottom of your screen. Be sure to visit our website, which is www.benartex.com, to see all of these fabrics and more. And when you fall in love with a collection, which I'm sure you will fall in love with at least one, I've fallen in love with almost all of them, I think. Be sure to ask for them in your local quilt shop. They can order them through their sales rep, online on our website, or through their favorite distributor. So now it is time to start the show. Oh, someone else loves all of them so far. I'm glad I'm not the only one. All right, so our first panelist in this session is an author, award-winning quilter, quilt judge, Janome National spokesperson, and a fabric designer, Kimberly Einmo. She has two beautiful fabric collections to share with you today. Fresh Blends is a bright and colorful basics collection, and Cheeto's World, which highlights Cheeto, an orange and white tabby cat with a lot of catitude. So first, we're going to show you a quick little video of Fresh Blends, and then Kimberly can tell us all about it. Kimberly, can you tell us a little more about Fresh Blends, please?
Hey everyone, so happy to be here from Colorado, and it's a beautiful day, and I'm so excited to share not one but two new fabric lines with you all. And these have been in the works for quite a while, so let's just jump right in. I'm going to share my screen here and get the show started. Let's see if I can do this. Am I sharing? Can you see it? There. Stephanie, can we see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let me try again. And always tricky to get started from here. I've got the share. And I thought we had it all working. Here we go. There we go. How about that?
There it is.
Yeah, okay. There we go. All right. Yay. Thanks for hanging in there with me with the technical difficulties. So this is Fresh Blends. I love blender prints. And so I wanted to start by sharing with you some of the things that inspired me to create this collection. Of course, I love fresh fruits and vegetables and the colors of a farm stand. And I also was inspired by paintbrush strokes. I like the way that they look, and I thought, what happens if we combine all those? And we have come up with 21 fresh beautiful blender prints that I love them because they are subtle enough to blend beautifully with so many other fabrics and yet strong enough to stand completely on their own. So they really do morph from being the supporting stars in your quilts and projects to being the complete focal point. So we've got lots to share. Here, these are just the fabrics laid out. What I love is that even though you might see a color, if you get up close, there's a secondary or third color that is kind of mixed into each one. And so these are fresh blends, and the names are like cherry or tangerine or lemon or just fun organic names. And I think that you'll be as excited about them. I hope you will be as excited about them as I am, because they are going to go with so many other prints in your quilts and your projects. And they just, kind of work as a solid, but the closer you get, it kind of draws the viewer's eye inward. And hopefully you'll be able to see that they are going to add a lot of dynamic depth to your quilt. So let's show you what some of the patterns I've come up with are. This is a free offering called Brick by Brick. It's really just a double four patch that is elongated and really simple enough for a beginner to do. And of course you can make it in lots of different sizes, but this showcases, these prints, and it makes a good fat quarter or half yard bundle project. And then this is another free pattern, just a fun one, called Perfect Pineapple. Again, would be great for using like a charm pack, and then a little bit of extra yardage with the greens for the top of your pineapple, but really fun to do. Spinning spools is another great fat quarter project. And I love this because these blocks are, like those little Lay's potato chips. You can't just make just one because if you only have 10 minutes to sew, this is the perfect project to sit down and knock out a quick block. So this is really fun and goes together quickly. And then there's Pineapple Plantation. I love pineapples. It's my most favorite fruit. And I just thought these would be fun. And using the lime green and the black or the slate color to make a really fun checkerboard border, inner border, just gives the whole quilt a nice pop to it, a nice zing. And then there's blooms for all the applique, fusible machine applique enthusiasts. Again, this doesn't take a lot of fabric. It'd be a good fat eighth project. You could add a little more for the greens, but it's a great way to showcase some easy, simple, fusible machine applique skills. If you have a sewing machine with a zigzag stitch, you can easily do this block. And then these are by some other fun contributors, and this is Color Kites by Linda and Carl Sullivan of Colorworks. I love this. I love how dynamic it is and so different than anything that's out there right now. And whoops, something happened here. I'm no longer, there we go. A Day at the Beach is by Everyday Stitches. And I think I read somewhere that this is a block of the month, maybe. I'm not sure. I think I saw that. Or no, it was this one. Color by Numbers is the block of the month by Bound to Be Quilting. And how beautiful are these pieced blocks, and what a fun way to incorporate all of these fresh blends. So this is Fresh Blends, and of course this is Cheeto approved, and we'll have a little more from him momentarily. So to leave time for Cheeto's World, we'll throw it back to you momentarily, Stephanie, and then we'll dive back in. say, I seriously love that video. That's the first time I've seen it. That is awesome. So, before we get started, we do have the guest of honor right here. Here's Cheeto. For those of you who don't know, Cheeto is has his own Instagram account as Janome Cat because he loves to hang with me in the studio, and he is the star of this whole new line of fabrics. So he's always with me in the studio, and I am excited about Cheeto's World. So let me start sharing again. And let's see here, we'll share and we'll start from right here, from where we left off. Let's see if I can get it to go. There we go. Cheeto's World is all about Cheeto and our other kitties. And I thought we would, it's Cheeto's World. We just get to live in it. And so I just am so excited about this line. But here is the Cheetos World panel. And I'm so excited about this panel because each of these were inspired by actual photos. And here you're getting to see some of the photos that inspired the artwork for Cheetos World panel. And what I really love about this panel is each one of these panel pieces are easily divisible by 2. So they're going to be so easy for you to incorporate into your blocks, into your projects, because they are round numbers. They're like 6 by 6 inch squares, or 8 by 8 inch squares, or 6 by 12 inch, or 16 by 12 inch panels, which make it really easy to incorporate into other projects and blocks. So let's take a look at some of these fun pictures that inspired the artwork. And what I absolutely love is that these are our kitties. That's Miss Tater when she was a kitten, and Miss Remy. And these are photos that I have just snapped at times, just candidly, especially like the one of Remy right there with the other kitties. That was a total candid moment, not planned, but ended up being some great artwork. And here's some more of Cheeto being Cheeto in the studio, and yet these turned into amazing panels. I'm so proud of these. I love the colors. I love the theme of these. And so we're going to keep going here. And here are the fabrics. I hope you guys are as excited about these as I am. There's so much to share with these right now. We've got some main prints and a bunch of different blenders and geometrics and stripes. So let's just introduce them. This is Cheeto and Friends. It comes in blue and purple. And then we've got Elegant Kitties. I love this because it's very subtle. If you look closely, you see the cats, but at first glance, it just sort of has a kind of Vera Bradley-ish look to it. And you won't see the kitties till you get up close. So for those of you who don't want something, you want something a little more elegant and not so more whimsical, these 2 prints are just awesome. And yet all of the prints work beautifully together. I love this, called Scattered Leaves in green, pink, and sky. I had so much fun working with the designs for these. And here we go. We've got posies in sky and blue. For those of you, I can't imagine, but maybe some of you don't want cats at all. And that's okay. But then we've got what you want to. We've got some fun contemporary sort of prints in these posies. And here, medallions in grass color and blue. I love this because it is very modern looking and yet just adds the right amount of texture and dynamo in your projects. And then we have this print called Dashes in sky and fuchsia. Love that too. Again, it's a modern sort of print, but goes so well with all of the other prints in the collection. And teensy checks. Oh, these are really tiny little checks, but they add just a little bit of sparkle and make great backgrounds. And then I had to do a stripe. I love stripes. So we did Ziggy stripes, and you see those in green and blue. And then finally we have ditzy dots in grass, fuchsia, and teal. And these, again, great blenders, go with so many other prints, not just Cheeto's World prints. I love these, and these just make such great bindings or just any kind of addition to your prints. So this is the free pattern that I'm offering called Panel Play, and it features almost all of those panel pieces, and is a great way to use up small bits of fabric. Those are all 2.5-inch squares supporting the panels. And I got a little bit of sample yardage just about 3.5 weeks ago, and I made up a smaller version of Panel Play because I didn't have a lot of that sample yardage yet, but here you can actually see it in fabric, and this is the smaller version. And then we'll have Mouse, Mouse, Goose, just a fun way to showcase one of the larger panels, and a fun little wall hanging with some easy machine applique and some flying geese. And Just Dottie is a great way to use up 10-inch squares. So if you can get the 10-inch squares, which I believe Cheeto's World is going to be coming out in those 10-inch squares, this is a great pattern for using 10-inch squares. And then there's Catitude 1. And this is a fun way to do one big applique piece showcasing the Cheeto and Friends fabric. And we have Catitude 2. So if you have room on your walls for a set of wall hangings, this is a great way to showcase these while also using small bits of the accompanying prints. And these would make great baby quilts too. So if you got cat lovers, there you go. And we've got Wild Rover by Villa Rosa Designs, just a fun and easy way to showcase the fabrics. So here's some other fun things that you can do with Cheeto's World. We've got some by Annie's patterns made up in the Cheeto's World. I love the duffel. Love, love, love that duffel. And then these I made. These are just for fun. I did some fun little totes, some shoes, and I actually have these to show here momentarily. And before I wrap things up, I did want to throw in there that my Upwards fabric line that came out last fall, I just started the block of the month. It's a free block of the month. There are kits available through your local Janome dealer. It just started. It's not too late to join. It's just a 6-month block of the month quilt along. The pattern, the handouts, the videos, those are all free, and you can find out more either on my website or janome.com. So I hope you'll love Fresh Blends and Cheeto's World. And I'm going to stop the sharing here for a minute, just show you a couple quick things. I did make up those little totes, which was really fun. And I even used the selvage because the selvage edge is so cute on Cheeto's World. We've got little cat heads, and I did another one here. This one I vinylized the fabric with a heat and bond product, which was really fun to do something new, but a great way to use those panels. And I'm really into tote bags lately, so I made this with cork and had a lot of fun using up small pieces of Cheeto's World with the cork. And with some leftovers from that sample yardage, I made a jelly roll rug. So how fun is that? Just from 2.5-inch strips from Cheeto's World, I made up a jelly roll rug. So that is Fresh Blends and Cheeto's World. And I'm just so excited about this and hope you guys will be asking for these fabrics at your local quilt shop.
Great. Thank you so much, Kimberly. And say hi to Cheeto for me. Give him a little
I
scratch
will.
behind the ears.
Oh, you bet. You bet. He's famous. Oh, real quick, funny thing that happened recently. I was at a trade show and I was in the ladies' room, and someone came up to me and she said, "I know you." She said, "You're Cheeto's mom." I said, "Yes, I am." I was very proud of that.
He's absolutely famous, isn't he?
That's right. All right.
All right, so moving on. Next up, we have Pat Sloan and special guest Alicia Thomas, who is the executive director of the Virginia Quilt Museum. The Blue Mill collection was a true collaborative effort to celebrate the museum's 30th anniversary. Welcome, Pat and Alicia.
Hi, I'm Pat, and the other Pat is Alicia in the turquoise.
Hi.
We're on the same sign on. So I am just delighted to have made this all happen with the museum, with the Virginia Quilt Museum and Benartex to be able to celebrate 30 years of a quilt museum. I mean, I've interviewed her, that's what you're going to watch, and talked about the process, like what the museum is about the quilt that inspired the line. It is really an honor to be able to help and support. And Benartex, thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this for both of us. I mean, Alicia, do you want to say a little something before it runs, or do you want to talk after? Me, either way.
I just want to thank Benartex for doing this, but not only doing this, but being a huge supporter of the museum and the quilting industry. So you guys are always just so supportive and helpful when I need things, giveaways or sponsorships. We couldn't be where we are without the support of you and everyone else in the quilt industry. So thank you so much.
So I think you can run that, and then we can maybe talk a little bit after.
Sounds great.
I am so excited to be here talking to you about the fabric line for the Virginia Quilt Museum called Blue Mill. It is inspired by a pine burr quilt in their collection, which the museum director has hanging behind her. And so let's just get right over there and talk to her. I am so excited to have you here, Alicia. Thank you for joining us for this Benartex project, this Benartex presentation.
Thank you so much for having me, Pat. I'm so excited about this project and to be here today.
Yeah, I asked Alicia. Alicia is the executive director of the Virginia Quilt Museum down in Dayton, Virginia. And she's is very busy running a museum. And so, coordinating to get some time so that we could just be sure we got this recorded for all of you is just so awesome. And what happened with this project is that we had an idea that why don't we do a fabric line with Benartex for the museum and being inspired by a quilt in the museum. Now, Alicia, when I asked you about this, and said, what quilts would you think would be like good inspirations to represent the museum? What kind of thought did you have about finding that quilt?
My first thought was to think about what quilts we had that had a lot of fabric in them, because I feel like a lot of our quilts and maybe some of our most well-known quilts only have 2 or 3 fabrics in them, which wasn't what we were looking for this project. So I had to really kind of dig through our collection to see what was kind of scrappy and had a lot of prints in it. So that's where I started.
That is that was really important because to do a fabric collection, we were being inspired by the actual fabric used by the original quilt maker. So this quilt just spoke to all of us here at Benartex. When you sent the couple different options, this is the one that everybody's like, we named it Blue Mill. We all worked on that name together because you're in an old mill at the museum. So what do you know about the maker?
So this was made, my guess is the late 1800s, probably 1880 to 1900, by a woman named Melinda Jane Flint. And she was from, when she was born in the 1830s, was Virginia, but became West Virginia during the Civil War. She was widowed during the Civil War and never remarried. She raised her 3 children on her own after that. And she was a fantastic quilter. We actually have 2 quilts from her in our collection, and we got both of them in 2008. So we've had them for a while.
Oh, wow, wow. So this quilt has a lot of blue and a lot of some sort of into grays, a little bit. Is that like a pink or a red?
Yeah, it looks like it was probably a red that has faded.
Has faded, yeah. So how did she construct this?
It is hand pieced and hand quilted, and then you can see a little bit of this border here. That was replaced after 1950. And you can, if you feel it, it's much thicker than the rest of the quilt because they just put it over the quilt.
Oh. Did they quilt through it then? Just a look.
They did not.
I know. Quilters think that everything is perfect from the old days, but no. They just put it right on top, no quilting or anything. Oh, that's so amazing. So do you know if a family member did it?
We don't know. That part, unfortunately, not written down anywhere, which is a good reminder to label your quilts if you make them.
Yeah, and if you make adjustments to them, like you took grandma's quilt and added something like a border on top. That's oh my goodness. So when Blue Mill comes out, which is looking like November, December of this year, so right at the end of the year, will the museum carry some of that?
Yeah, our plan is to have pre-cuts in our museum store. We don't really have the capability to store bulk or to cut yardage. Most of the people who work in our gift shop are volunteers, but we'll have the fat quarters and farm packs and all the pre-cuts.
That is so, so cool. And you do have a quilt shop in town or just nearby? Yeah.
Yeah, Patchwork Plus is 1 mile from us, so they're going to carry the yardage so that you can, pick up a farm pack from us, and then if you need say backing, go over there and buy it.
Yeah. That is so amazing. Will you be able to hang this quilt at some point in the maybe next year?
I think we will probably put it out when we get the fabric in. We've got a nice space in our gift shop where we normally hang a raffle quilt, but I think we'll probably put this up to help inspire people.
Yes. Oh, that is so cool. I'll have to come down and see it then because I've not seen it in person. We had to do everything by photos, because we're all over the place here. We're not all down in your area of Virginia. Ah, so great. So the Virginia Quilt Museum has a website. You can go and get information on their hours and the current exhibits and all that. So, we don't have time today for Alicia to tell us about it. But thank you so much for the kind of background on this beautiful quilt.
You're welcome, Pat, and thank you so much for working on this project with us and to Benartex for doing this project. We're so excited to have this fabric come out this fall.
Yeah. So nice. Now, I know you want to see the fabric. It is inspired by pieces that were in this quilt. So I'm going to put that all out on the table and we'll take a look. And then right after that, I'll show you some of the patterns my friends recolored with the fabric in it so you can see how it looks made up. The line is done with reds, blues, a little tan, a little cream, and I name them so that they're kind of go with the mill. This one is Starlight. It is out on a lake, and you're going to see another lake name. Here is the print that goes on this one. Loving this burgundy. The burgundy and blue is so classic. Here is our light that can be used for backgrounds. The next piece is called Flour Sacks. It is a flour mill. So of course, flour sacks, right? Have to have some names that go with that. And look at this gorgeous blue here. Right here is the millstone. In a mill, you're going to have millstones, and that's got kind of that little bit of a wheel effect. You can see how that's inspired by the vintage fabrics. Okay, in the front here, I have two sort of stripes, and they are the wood beams. When you're on the basement of the mill, you can see the wood beams, which is incredible. We've got Lakeside, or Lakeview rather, and Lakeview is because the mill sits directly on, like right at a lake, and it has, the water coming for running the mill. This is a pre-Civil War mill. It is amazing in person. The next two were inspired by not just the fabrics, but by other quilts in the collection, taking them so that we have things that look a lot like a quilt. This is called Dayton, which is the town the mill is in, the mill and the museum in the mill. Look how fun that is. Okay, let me see. And I've got the last one here is Silver Mill. That is just inspired by kind of a 9-patch, right? And half square triangle feel. Now on the edge of all the pieces, we have written, I got one here. This got the whole thing. So you can see the edge here is Benartex as Blue Mill, Virginia Quilt Museum in collaboration with me. All the royalties for the Blue Mill collection go directly to the museum. I'm not involved with that part at all. I just helped orchestrate everything between the museum and Benartex. And so when your shops and when you buy the fabrics, all the royalties go right to the museum to support all of their efforts, which is so fantastic. So let's take a look at the quilts. Here is a free pattern from Stephanie Sheridan, and it is called Days of Yore. Oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous. Look at that. That'll be on the website closer to when the fabric is in stores. Now we have Picket Stars by Everyday Stitches. I love how the edges on those strip blocks are.
and gorgeous stars. We all love stars, right? We're quilters. And my friend Andy Knowlton has done skippers, another super cute star. I bet those are super fun to make too. Wendy Shepard, who does amazing designs with my things, has and also helps with the Virginia Quilt Museum. We have hosted fundraisers for them, and she has patterns here using Blue Mill, the candy logs. That is strip friendly. Look at that, all those strips for those of you who really love your strip quilts. Home Sweet Home by Wendy. Very patriotic, the red, white, and blue. Love those corners on it. Oh, so cool. And then she does lots of cool designs, and the cats have just always captured my heart. And I thought, oh, can we have one with the cats? So there they are, Under My Skein. She has super fun names too. Over at It's So Emma, they do a lot with my designs and the fabrics. And so here is Annalise, designed by Joshua Un. Look at that. Look how pretty that is with all of the blues for Blue Mill. And then It's So Emma's Nova Birchfield did Holiday Manor. I love that, how the connectors go. They make like a secondary design. This is so cool with patchwork. And It's So Emma Nova also did Bandwagon. Look how pretty that is. Brings in the burgundy color. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And then By Annie's bags are always a super big hit with you. And here are some of her, it's her project bag up on the top right. The undercover is on the left, which covers your sewing machine. And then the ultimate travel bag in the middle.
Thank you everybody for watching this, and I know that you will love Blue Mill, so ask your favorite quilt shops to order it for you. Alicia, do you have like a favorite color or piece in there since you've been seen it?
I really love the stripes.
Yeah.
They're just so fun, and they kind of include a lot of the colors in them. But I love it all. I'm really bad at picking favorites. People often ask me what my favorite quilt is, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Right. I think a lot of us are like that. We don't want to pick a favorite. Now, do you have any? I can't remember. Did the lady who made? Can you give the name again of the lady who made the quilt that inspired this?
Yeah, it was made by Melinda Jane Flint, and we actually have two quilts that she made. She made this one and another 8-pointed star, and she was, basically a single mother after she was widowed, raising her children, and that she still found time to create what are not easy quilts. These are, she wasn't making a 9-pat. She
Yeah.
liked her point.
Right. Yeah, she did. Just, I guess, I mean, as a museum director, do you think of her like as an artist?
I do. I don't know that she would have thought about herself that way. That's one of the things I often think about with historic quilt makers is, did they think of themselves as making art?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at some of them and their use of color and what they're doing, it's clear that it is art, even if they didn't think about it that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, let us go back to Stephanie for the other presentations. And if there's other questions, we can do them at the end from people.
Yes, please. If anyone has any other questions about Blue Mill, please pop them in the Q&A box and we'll answer them at the end of the show. So right now we're going to take a short break and pop a poll up on your screen. So on that poll, for those of you that are attending live on Zoom, please answer this poll question for a chance to win a fabulous fabric prize. We'll be giving away 4 different prizes in this session today. So there's your question. What type of fabric prints do you prefer to work with? Good luck, everyone, because I would check all of these boxes because I like working with all of the fabrics. So we'll leave that up for just another minute. And yes, today has been the day of cats. I had forgotten about Wendy's cat quilt. And so we have cats, and we had a cat in the earlier session too. So it's been a kitty cat kind of day. All right, so we will move on now to our next panelist who is here with us to share her very first fabric collection. Laura Coia is the host of the wildly popular SewVeryEasy YouTube channel. I'm sure many of you have watched her videos. Her Blooming Crystals collection is full of vibrant jewel tones with a very boho chic vibe. Let's look at the fabrics and then Laura can tell us all about them. Hi, welcome, Laura.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have my first fabric line, and thank you, Benartex, for helping me get through all the bumps along the way. It's been a lot of fun. So,
So tell us a little bit more about your first collection, Blooming Crystals. It's absolutely beautiful. Definitely
eh,
colors that I can relate to.
I love rich, dark colors. There's just something elegant and sophisticated, but as long as you put a little fun with it, then it really does pop. And that sort of was my line for here. This blue line behind me was really kind of two colors that I always liked as a child. When you got that big box of crayons, with the pencil sharpener in the back, my two favorite colors was purple and turquoise. And if my brothers touched those, they were in trouble. So that was sort of that first line that I wanted. And who cannot love a good green and a good blue? So that's sort of what was the colors in my mind. And I also love having those little kaleidoscopes that you'd look in, you'd turn, and all the colors would change in when you looked up in the light. So that was sort of the thoughts that I was thinking when I saw them. So I do have two that are made. The little one here is actually the free pattern, and that's the one that you'll be able to get from the Benartex website. And this is just the same quilt, but they're 4 blocks put together. So you can get it a lot larger if you want. And you can really see the difference on how those fabrics play together versus, in the smaller versus the large. They're large, you really see the impact, and yet the blocks are the same size. So you have some fun doing it in the larger or having it smaller. And then, of course, it's always nice to have those secondary patterns pop out. It's always fun to see those. So this is the blue line that I did work with. Oh, and I did decide that, well, I needed to because, and look, I put two different colors on it. I have that beautiful purple and my chandeliers and the fans, just because, and I got vintage buttons. So just something to have some fun with it. So let me show you a little bit of the difference. So we have the blue on the wall, and here is this green. And what I wanted to show is you have that tone on tone black. And I love to have tone on tones. I love that richness in a background fabric. And then the same thing goes with the greens. We have different layers of the greens. We have different layers of the blue. So we've had layers of colors over top of one another. And that is giving us a sort of a little bit more of a complex look. And of course, they all have to match. And I love to travel, so I get all these inspirations. And the fans are really just so beautiful. And that's the shirt that I'm wearing with the fans. And a lot of the colors will mix together. So this is the blue line, but you can see where the blue and the green are also going to be able to blend in. So a lot of them are going to be able to match. So this is called fans, and it comes in the blue and the green. And then we do need just some vines in the blue and the green. And this is the blue that's in the quilt. It's just a little delicate one. And there's the green, a little bit more of a pop of color. But you can see how even though this is from both lines, that they're going to work together. So I do like to have fabrics that all go together, and that way you can mix and match that you want. Now, no fabric is complete, in my opinion, without a dot. You have to have a dot. I love dots. And this is the dot. So they're irregular. So they're not striped. So you don't have to worry about that stripe being directional. So we have a little bit of green and a little bit of blue in each of them. So we have the blue version and we have the green version. But once again, they're going to be able to pop together because of that. They sort of kind of blend. Now this name, to me, when I saw this fabric, when it was finally all done, I was like, oh, they look like chandeliers. And that's where all of this came from. Don't they look like little chandeliers hanging down? So it goes with all of those colors of the jewels and like that. I do like tiles and I like to fussy cut things. I don't want to fussy cut everything, but I like to have a little bit of a fussy cut. So I did tiles, painted tiles. So we have some larger ones that we could fussy cut and some smaller ones. So we can do borders with these or just really fussy cut them. But this would be fabulous for binding because it's going to give us all those colors without, within that quilt. Now, of course, you do need sort of like a tone on tone, a solid. So the solid, there are 4 different solids. And that would be, let me see if I can find it. This one right here. And right there, you really don't see the definition in it. So that's the one that's on the quilt. The little purple. And you can see it's got purple and purple and purple and purple. We just cannot have enough. And then there's another line. Now this, oh, you can really see it on this one. It's a tone on tone, but look, this goes into another shape. Can you see the circle in that? So we can, and it almost looks like a bit of a square. We have this little medallion and a circle. This would be a great background fabric, and you could really have some fun quilting that. So we also have that in the green. Wow, this camera is really picking it up good. You just never know with the light. And I love this color. Like, isn't that beautiful? So some colors you see a lot more than you do others. So what I'm going to be doing is I will be doing videos. So I will be doing a video on how to make that quilt. So you can also not only get the free pattern, but I'll have a video at the same time so we can sew along together. And then what I thought I would do, because I do have a pattern that I really, really love, and I love using pre-cuts, and I haven't been able to use my own fabrics in a pre-cut. So I'm going to do a clamshell quilt in that with pre-cuts. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And the clamshells, it's a quilt as you go pattern. So it's quilted when you're all done. So this is the new line in the blue and in the green. I haven't made the green yet. That is on my list of things to do. And of course, I might make a few more pieces of clothing out of it just because. So thanks again for, helping me along the way. I do appreciate it. It's been very fun.
Thanks, Laura. And that clamshell quilt is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
So much fun. All right, so last but not least today, we have designer Jackie Robinson with Circle of Butterflies. This beautiful line is full of a wide range of hues and colors, from pastels to brights, and of course, butterflies in all shapes and sizes. Unfortunately, Jackie wasn't able to be here with us live today. She does live out in Arizona, and they are dealing with some wildfire issues out there. She's fine, and her house is fine, but she was not able to join us. But we do have a quick video of the fabrics that we wanted to share with you. So that was Circle of Butterflies. And just to make sure you guys know, it is enhanced with a pearlescent sheen. So those butterflies really stand out. It's hard to show it in a video, but live online, it is amazing. And I will be sure to pass on all of your well wishes to Jackie the next time I speak to her. And so now we're going to actually move on to our Q&A session. So I'm going to look in the Q&A box, and I'm going to ask our designers to answer some of these questions that you guys have put out to us. So the first one is, are Fresh Blends digitally printed? Yes, they are. We do digitally print some of our fabrics. Some of them are also traditionally printed, but Fresh Blends is one that is digitally printed. And this is a good question, and I'm not sure of the answer, so I'm going to ask all of my designers. Are there any professional organizations for quilt fabric designers? I know the three of you have been in the industry for quite some time, and maybe some of you would know if there are any professional organizations for fabric designers.
Well, I know that in like Facebook and social media, there are forums that you can, join or follow along where people share information, but I don't know of any professional like associations
If you're
for that.
thinking like a certification, I don't believe there's anything like that. There are some craft things where it's like all crafts, not fabric designers. That's very specific. But there are, like Kimberly said, there's groups where pattern designers, all kinds of different people within the industry come together to share ideas and experiences and get and ask questions and that kind of a thing.
All right, thank you both. Let's see. Alicia, could you again tell us the name of the quilter? Somebody had asked about it. I know you mentioned it, but it's worth mentioning again because she did such amazing work.
Yeah, her name is Melinda Jane Flint. And one of the things I'm really proud of here at the Virginia Quilt Museum is you can actually access our collection online. So if you go to vaquiltmuseum.org and then go under collection, you will be taken to a website that has all 300 quilts in our collection, and you can read about them there and see this quilt and see a couple pictures of it. So that's also a resource that's out there.
What a fantastic resource, Alicia. Thank you so much for that. And then what website will have the Days of Your Pattern? The Days of Your Pattern, I'm very proud of that one. I started out with Benartex as a quilt pattern designer, and I still get some time to design when I'm not doing my marketing responsibilities. And as soon as I saw this collection, I knew I had to design the free pattern for it. So that free pattern will be available at benartex.com, and it will be in probably September when that pattern will be available. We put our patterns up on our website usually about 2 months before the fabric collections start shipping to stores, so you guys can get your pattern downloaded and be all ready when you go buy your fabric.
It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous pattern.
I'm really proud of that one. I had a lot of fun designing it, so it means a lot that you like it, Pat. Thank you. And Pat, question for you. Will you be doing a quilt-along project using Blue Mill?
Yes. So stay tuned.
Awesome. And Pat's line will be shipping November, and November, December timeframe, it'll be shipping to stores. Laura, about your YouTube channel. Could you tell us the name of your YouTube channel and where we can find you on YouTube? I have you as a favorite, so. Oh, you're muted, Laura.
There we go. Most
There we
people
go.
tell me to be quiet, never not mind to talk. My channel is called SewVeryEasy, and of course it's SEW. So you just go to YouTube, type in SewVeryEasy, and that's where you'll find me. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And then how did Benartex find these designers, or did the designers submit samples of their work for consideration? These designers, we actually, I believe all of you, we reached out to you and said, hey, do you want to design some fabric? And you all said, yeah, I'd really like to design fabric. So I think that's how it happened with you, all of you. But please correct me if I'm wrong. Is that how it worked with everyone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're so very happy that you're working with us, because all of your collections are so very different from each other this time, and all beautiful in their own rights. Next question. Will Laura present another block of the month, possibly with these new fabrics? And are there charm squares, which we call them 5x5s, in her line? Laura, are you going to do a block of the month?
I am hoping. I just haven't got it designed yet because I just got the fabric, so I needed to really see it before I started something. So it's in the works.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the small quilt in blue, does it have a name? I believe it does, but I can't remember what it is right off the top of my
They
head.
draw. Wait, hold on. Crystal chandeliers. See, I have it written
chandeliers.
down because my brain doesn't work sometimes. Yeah, it's crystal chandeliers.
Okay. And then one last question for you. You seem to have gathered some inspiration from Portugal in your fabric designs. Is this so?
Yes, it is actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Impressive that they picked out Portugal from
Yeah.
your collection.
Yeah, I love traveling. Portugal and Italy are my two favorite places to travel. So, yeah, I do get a lot from that. I just love the old tiles and all the old art. So, yeah, I do get a lot of inspiration from them.
And then Juanita asked about putting the links to all of the designers' websites. I do believe that we already did that. So perhaps my behind the scenes team could pop that link in again. And then Paul Leager, I think is how you pronounce his last name, wants to know if you, Laura, and he need matching outfits.
Okay. Paul is a Canadian burning ambassador. So, yes, maybe we do. Okay, we'll have to work on that.
I can't wait to see them. I'm thinking like a full suit with a bow tie.
Oh, he has some very unusual. He has big Bernina outfits, and Paul loves clothing, so he's good. And he also loves my white purse. You can't have my white purse, Paul. I'm sure he's laughing right now. So. Oh,
Okay,
he needs a tie and shoes. Oh, yes, that's what we need to get him.
for sure. And then will the free patterns mentioned be available on the Benartex website? All of our patterns, like I said, are put up on our website about 2 months before the line starts shipping to stores. And if it's not one that we're housing directly on our website, it will be a link to the designer's website where you can find the pattern, not just our free patterns, but any of the commercial patterns that you saw here today. We provide direct links to the designer's website, so you can go to our website, see the pattern, and go directly to the designer's website to purchase it from them. Does the butterfly come in that circle mandala, or is it a pattern? The circle mandala is a panel from the collection, and it is a single panel with the whole mandala in it, made up of the butterflies. Oh, and there are the designers' websites in the chat so that you have all of those. Oh, this is a good question. I'm interested. Who does the designer's quilting? So, Kimberly, do you do all of your own long arm quilting, or do you send it out?
No, quilts that are about 50 inches square or less. I do a lot of my own quilting. Anything larger than that, I have a long armor in Ohio that does it for me. Actually, I have different ones, but mostly I use Carolyn Archer of Ohio Star Quilting. So
Fantastic. And Laura, how about you? Do you quilt all your own quilts?
I do. I have a sit down Q20, and I just do most of them free motion or ruler work. Yeah.
All right. And Pat, how about you?
I use long armors, and I have for 25 years. So that's not the part I enjoy, and they do a much better job at it than I ever did. I'd have done my own in the past, but once I could hire people, there it goes. Yeah, my long armor is local. She's retired, and I'm the only business person she works with. I'm
Fantastic.
special.
My mom does all of my long arm quilting. What's better than having a long arm machine?
Yeah,
Having a mom to long
yeah,
arm all of your quilts for you. And I was looking
yes.
at the strawberry quilt behind you, and
yeah.
I think my mom
You
did that
did.
one.
Yeah, your mom did this one. I was just your mom did several of mine over the years. Yeah, she did that one.
So, hi, mom.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
All right. And then does Benartex use ambassadors to make projects with new releases and to promote the brand? Actually, yes, we do. We have a group of 12 ambassadors every year. And right now, Anna also asked if so, how does one apply? Be watching in around August, late August, early September. We'll put out a call on our social media with the information on how to apply to be an ambassador for Benartex for next year. Are these collections going to be available as an EQ8 download? Yes, some of them are. We work closely with Electric Quilt, and we do send in collections to be included with their stash. So if you purchase their stash downloads, a lot of times you will find Benartex fabrics there. And Kimberly, can I leak the little secret?
Yeah. Yeah. Please.
So Kimberly works very closely with Electric Quilt as well. And in November, I believe it is, Cheeto's World is going to be the feature collection, and we're going to do a design challenge. So look forward to that in November.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love seeing all the designs that people come up with the collections, and, things that I had never thought of. And
Yeah.
it just amazes me at the talent. So I think that's all of the questions I have on here. Um, just looking to see, I think most of the other ones were answered. Um, so let me see. Oh, Kimberly, could you show us the selvage on your bag again? Because somebody
Oh,
asked
yeah.
about that.
Oh, yeah. So I did that. Let's see here. Are you seeing it? So I did it on all of them, actually. I put a little selvage piece because it's so stinking cute. It really is. And this one, because it had a little fringy edge on the selvage, I didn't tack it down. I literally left it so it could be this little fringy piece. And it's just got these cute little kitty heads for the different colors that they use. And I just pieced it, kind of pieced it together and made it work because I just thought, heck, why not? It's so stinking cute. So again, and here, even on the cork bag, I pieced it. Now remember, I just got these fabrics, like 1 yard of each, like what, 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. So I literally didn't have a lot to work with. So I like used every piece of the sample yardage you guys sent. So, and I have to say, as pretty as these fabrics are digitally, they're even better in person. I was blown away by how really great they are. They're really, the colors are very vibrant.
That's awesome. And Laura, I know you and I spoke last week, and you were saying about how exciting it was to see your name on a selvage for the first time. Do you want to show your selvage off too? Because I know Pat showed the one for Blue Mill, and now Kimberly's shown hers. So
Hold on,
let's see Pat's
let me
or
find it.
Laura's selvage.
I might have cut one off. Hold on. Oh no, here's one. I think, yes. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Pretty is pretty exciting. Can you see it? Dum, da, dum, 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 dum.
There it is.
Now, what I did though is I put it somewhere. Oh, of course, it's up here. I actually sew them into the binding, in the back of the binding, one strip. And that way, if I ever have to refer back, then I remember. And I like to do that with other quilts too. Doesn't matter what fabric, if I'm using it, I'll put one in. That way I can always remember what it is, because I won't remember.
What a great idea. All right, so I think we've gotten through all the questions. So it's time for our time here to end for today. But I want to thank you all for coming to our virtual fabric show. We hope that you enjoyed seeing the fabrics and the projects and hearing from our talented designers. Be sure to ask at your local quilt shop about the collections that you fell in love with, and we can't wait to see what you create with them. I'd like to announce the winners of our giveaway for this session. Congratulations to Chris Habelan, Wilma Shimkus, Benita Nance, and Connie Dews. The four of you are our winners for this session, and we'll reach out to you via email to get your addresses so we can mail you a fantastic fabric prize. And one last thank you to all of our fabric designers and our special guest, Alicia from the Virginia Quilt Museum. I'll give you all a chance to say goodbye to everybody, and then we'll wrap up for today. Laura?
I'm so happy you invited me here, and I'm so happy you guys took time to come and visit us. Thanks again. Bye now.
Pat?
Thank you to Benartex for working with the Virginia Quilt Museum. And I also have a YouTube channel. If you don't know, it's Pat Sloan, my name. So I hope you come and join me.
Awesome. Alicia?
Thank you so much for having me. The Virginia Quilt Museum also has a YouTube channel. It's just Virginia Quilt Museum. And we post things about our exhibits and talks with different quilters there. So you're not going to learn how to quilt there, but you'll learn some quilt history.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Kimberly?
Thank you, everybody. This is so fun. And I love watching everybody else's fabric designs and seeing all these great designers. And I'm just honored to be one of them with Benartex. You guys are awesome to work with.
Thank you so much. And thank you all again. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We have our final session of the Spring 2025 Virtual Fabric Show. So thank you again for coming, and have a great evening, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.